Hi and welcome to Quays TV. We're delighted to bring you this exclusive interview today with Simone Buitendijk. She's previously been Vice-Rector at Leiden University in the Netherlands, Vice-Proctor at Imperial College London and most recently Vice-Chancellor at the University of Leeds. She's now the brand new Deputy Vice-Chancellor here at the University of Salford, and she's known for leading large-scale education programmes, delivering interactive and student-centred education. So Simone, you're still relatively new to the university, and to help people to get to know you outside of your job, what sort of hobbies, what do you get up to when you're not working?
I love walking, hiking, running, so I'm really enjoying the north of England and all the nature around. I like to do that with friends or by myself, it really doesn't matter. I like to hang out with family and make nice lunches for groups of people, and I have a grandson who's almost 3 who I really like hanging out with.
Salford's great for getting connections around to everywhere. We've got, you know, the Peak and Lake District really easy accessible as well.
It's wonderful.
Perfect places for hiking.
Exactly, and I knew the Lake District before and the Peak District, so it's great to be right in the middle.
And it's a nice way to get away from like sort of the busy, bustling city that we have here with Salford and Manchester right next door as well.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice. So as we're here in Welcome Week, just the start of university, and there's going to be lots of fresh faces, lots of nervous young people that are going to be living away from home for the very first time. But I sort of wanted to know, what's the feeling with academics and sort of the leadership team at this time of year? How are you guys feeling ready for the start of the new year?
Yeah, I mean, we may not be as nervous as some of the new students, but we're certainly excited. It's always really great to see the new students coming, and it gives that sense of something new happening, and the summer is always really quiet, so we're all looking forward to seeing lots of students around campus again, so it's a great time of year.
And you're relatively new in your role here at the university as well. You've worked at previous universities before. Is there a difference with how this university operates in sort of the start of the Welcome Week, and how has that been to adjust?
I don't think it's that different. I think new students are pretty similar across all kinds of different types of universities. But what's nice about Salford, it has a very distinct campus. It's a really nice community, so it does feel like a little family more so than in bigger universities.
Yeah, 100%. I feel that as a student here, sort of the family ethos. I mean, whenever you walk around over the campuses, you always bump into someone you know and have a nice chat. It's a lovely place to be, and it's great. Especially bustling when we're in a Welcome Week like this and everyone's sort of meeting new faces for the first time. I always think it creates sort of a nice magic atmosphere.
I agree.
So as well, from you personally, have you got a message that you would give to new starters arriving at University of Salford this week? What would be your message to them?
Yeah, I went back in my head to my own first time at university and how nervous I was and how I felt like I was a bit of an imposter and everybody else was clearly much more deserving and smart than I was. So my message would be, if you feel like an imposter, if you feel anxious, don't, and realize that the vast majority of your colleagues feel exactly the same way. You can do this, you've come this far, just be confident. And to the few students who don't feel nervous, who don't feel like they're an imposter, great, you know, because you'll be fine, you'll thrive.
It can always be challenging trying to start something new for the first time, but I know from my personal experience coming through here when I started in the university, give it a few weeks and you'll settle right in, it'll become like a second home. Yeah. We've already sort of mentioned that you came to the university originally in an interim role earlier in the year, and now you're permanent in your Deputy Vice-Chancellor role. But what was it that attracted you to this university? What attracted you to the University of Salford?
I think what attracted me most is that the university is such a part of the city of Salford, and the city is proud of having the university, but the university also feels like it's really lucky to have the city, and so many of our students come from the local area. They'll bring lots of things back once they graduate, and I think it's a real blessing for a university to have a city that it can work with and relate to. And I've been in universities like in London where you don't have the city, because there's so many universities and it's such a huge city. But the first university I started working at in the Netherlands, also Leiden, also was similar, a relatively small city, really prominent, visible university. And that's what I really loved about the Salford setting. And the University of Salford is just a really brilliant place. People are so friendly and so warm and lovely. So yeah, I've fallen in love with the university a little bit, as I said in my interview, and I really mean it.
And I think as well, Salford is in that sort of perfect space where, as a city itself, it doesn't feel too large and overbearing, but if you want that experience, if you want something a bit more bustling, you can head to Manchester, which is literally 10-minute walk away.
Exactly.
So yourself, you've got history with studies in women's health, and medicine is your real area of expertise. But if you had the opportunity to go back to university and pick a different area of study now that you've had a bit of life behind you, what would you choose to study instead of sort of health and medicine?
Yeah, if I'd have to start all over again and could choose everything, maybe I would do the same again. But your question is, what would you do if you had to choose something different? Maybe photography. I was really keen photographer for a while when I was in my sort of late teens, early 20s. It's hard to make a living that way, but it's not impossible, and that could have been one of my choices. And otherwise something like philosophy. I think we really need people with a more philosophical mindset. We need arts, humanities, culture to counterbalance medicine and the STEM fields. So it would have been something entirely different.
Do you still do photography as a hobby these days?
I do, but I must say I only use my iPhone nowadays. I don't really...
They're so good.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. I used to drag my camera along everywhere, but now it's just, it's so nice to have them in my pocket.
And Salford University itself is thriving at the moment, and it feels like it's constantly growing. It feels like there's always a new project or building work underway. Can you tell me about some exciting new developments that new students can expect to see at the university over the next few years?
Yeah, what we're definitely aiming for is to give students an even better experience in the sense of creating classrooms where they're more working like partners with the teachers, so more group work, more student input in their own education, a lot less lecturing. We'll probably need some different teaching spaces, so lecture theatres at some point will completely disappear. Some more flat floor, flexible spaces, but also for students to already have a sense of what real work life looks like while they're at university. So we're changing into a more interactive way of learning and teaching, and I think students who start now will experience that in year 2 or 3 of their studies. And
it breaks down that barrier between university and the working world.
Exactly, and it's so important that our students have a sense of what they want to do after their studies here, and that often is still too much of a break there, which I think we need to make disappear.
Now, we're on Quays TV today, and Quays TV, the student TV station, is based over in our campus in Media City, UK, and is part of the School of Arts, Media and Creative Technology. Media City UK is just one of the 3 campuses that this university has. So what benefits do you think that come from all of the campuses and schools working together at this university?
Such a great question. I think huge benefits, all the major global challenges, they all need this multidisciplinary approach. None of them can be solved only by engineers or scientists or technicians, and we really need all the disciplines to work together. So I think there's enormous benefit in arts and media and culture working together with people in health or in engineering on the big issues like climate change and inequalities and everything that the world actually needs from students, from new graduates. So yes, we're going to focus on that big.
And great teams come together when they have sort of different skill sets.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's really needed.
Thank you so much for talking with us today, Simone. It's been brilliant to sort of get to know you a little bit more and learn about your new role at the university.
Thank you, Matt, it was fun.